So Claude Code is a black and white, text-only coding tool that only runs in an intimidating terminal. So how did this happen?
Claude Code, Cloud Code.
3 Claude Code skills.
I used Claude Code.
Claude Code just built and became my second game.
To be honest, I've never seen a piece of software get this many people, this obsessed, this fast. And most of them are not even developers. There are so many other products that obsess about perfectly crafted interactions, amazing design, ease of use, and they all end up failing. So why did they fail and this end up winning? This is a hard-to-install, terminal-only, black and white text application that was never built to be optimized for retention or for getting millions of people hooked, but it did. So how did this happen? Well, I looked under the curtain and now it all makes sense. Because once you understand the 3 key psychology and design principles behind Claude Code, you'll see why this tool has become almost an addiction to so many people. Oh, and literally the day I'm recording this video, the source code of the entire app leaked. We're gonna also take a look at exactly how they made this work behind the scenes. This video is sponsored by the friends of the channel at Vanta. More about them later in the video. But to understand this, let's start simple. I'm sure you recognize this, or even this one. And you also know that these are very addictive, but not the social media type of addictive. But that's one more game, or one more turn, or one more whatever this is kind of addictive. When you don't even realize it's 3 a.m. and you're still here grinding. Well, using Claude Code feels exactly the same. People are actually losing sleep, building the last feature, tweaking a new app or new system they just built. And that is by design. Because if you look closer, just another prompt feels kind of the same as just another turn in a strategy game. Except these are beautiful games built by game designers and artists exactly for that purpose. And this is a black and white coding tool that runs in your terminal. On the surface, they look completely different, but this is actually the first reason why Claude Code got so many people hooked. Because by complete accident, they nailed the most powerful game design principles out there. This is the art of game design, basically the Bible for anyone building games. 113 principles for what makes a game impossible to stop playing. Principle 63, the feedback loop must be short. In a game, you might be completing a level, which takes a few minutes, or you're in an intense quick battle, or yes, sometimes you need a little patience, but a great game is made up of many small loops of action and reward. And now, take a look at this. You tell Claude what you want, and reasoning, actions, file editing start happening, and a short while later, you have your result, action and reward. So then, new tweak, new prompt, and repeat. Each prompt is a short feedback loop. So no, what makes it addictive is not how intelligent the AI model is, there's something else that makes this kind of tool different than a ChatGPT or even just regular Claude. Number 64, juiciness. This is a game design conference in Sweden in 2012, and this looks like a plain boring game, just rectangles bouncing off of one another. But then they started making one small change at a time. They add a bit of color here, some sound there, make the screen shake a little bit, give the rectangles some wobbly eyes. The game stayed the same, the rules stayed the same, but the juicy version felt more playful and fun. And this doesn't seem like something that relates a lot with this, but look closer. First of all, you've noticed if you ever use Claude models versus ChatGPT, they're much more friendly and conversational in tone. They don't feel like this. Or take a look at this. When Claude Code is doing its thing, there's these unnecessary but fun pieces of text. And now that we have the actual source code that leaked, we know that there are exactly 187 of them, and here they are. It might seem like a small thing, but you don't need to go over the top to give your product just enough personality to make it juicy. And then principle 55, visible progress. Every game shows you some progress bar, some XP filling, a map revealed. In Claude Code, that's your entire project. You start with an empty folder and then files start to appear, features light up, the file tree grows in real time. And here's the thing, it's an open map game. There's no natural stopping point. If you ever played strategy games, you know the feeling. Any moment there's multiple things about to happen, a new technology in 2 turns, a building is ready in 4. There's always some progress and something that's just about to happen and something you're just about to reach. Principle 36, chance. Unpredictable rewards are more addictive than guaranteed ones. That's why slot machines work. Of course, Anthropic tries to minimize Claude's mistake. That's normal. But the fact that it still makes some and it's not perfect, it's weirdly playing to their advantage here. At times it comes up with something brilliant. Sometimes it's just okay, and 10% of the time it almost works, but it doesn't. And that's the slot machine moment. Because now, once you're so close, it's just another prompt, just another turn. And the game similarities and game mechanics don't stop here. Because even watching the machine work is the reward. Factorio, satisfactory, cookie clicker. Researchers at Harvard call this the labor illusion. Where you see work being done for you, you value the results more. And that's exactly what Claude Code does. You describe what you want, and then you watch it. You watch it read files, write code, run tests, see errors, fixing them, running them again. And that's because while a generic AI tool for consumers would have hide this under a generic spinning wheel, you see this happening, and that's the magic. Now, no one at Anthropic sat down and said, let's make this similar to games and let's make it addictive. But this is where it starts to get interesting, because the second reason why everyone got obsessed with this is even weirder. Take a look at this tweet. All of these products were built to be beautiful, friendly, designed to make AI approachable, and all of them are either dead or dying. And then there's OpenClaw or Claude Code, tools not built for regular people. They are not hiding complex terminal commands or what Bash is. They're hard to install, no buttons, no cute onboarding, and still, they became a huge success. So what is going on here? This is copy-paste, brain-dead simple. Two key combinations, you know how it works. What makes it work is not that there's a copy-paste for images or one for text or one for Windows or one for Mac. It just works everywhere, it's powerful. So it goes in here. But in order to make it powerful, universal, your computer is managing clipboard formats, converting rich text, handling images, communicating between separate apps. Apple and their ecosystem has it working even between different devices. So this is not really simplicity, but perceived simplicity. This is called Tesler's law. Complexity can never be destroyed, it can only be moved. And yeah, Larry Tesler was the inventor of the copy and paste, by the way. Now, many of the products that come out to date are actually simple and well designed and easy to use, but they're just not powerful. They're here. Okay, this gadget looks sleek, but what do you mean the only thing it can do is book an Uber? What Claude Code did is genius. It started as a coding tool here in the chart, but it moved itself over here. See, what makes it simple is not that it never makes mistakes or that it has polished design, but the fact that it solved problems all the way back to being simple on his own. Let me explain. See, I write these videos with a combination of Notion for organizing things and Claude Code with a set of custom skills I created. So I asked it to synchronize the script of this video that I'm writing from Notion so it can read it and help me do some research. So it goes ahead, it tries to find an MCP server. And now that it's not working, it's like, oh my God, not working. Let me try the API. It goes out on the internet, finds the documentation online and makes it work for me. The thing it did was very complicated, but I perceived simplicity. It's auto-fixing itself. You reach the maximum nirvana level when you ask Claude Code to debug issues with Claude Code itself. And this is basically Tesler's law on steroids. I got what I needed. I didn't have to read documentation or know what an MCP is. It just did it. And if I'm stuck, I just ask it to unstuck me. That's why it's so powerful, but also so simple. And this chart explains so many of the products you use every day and why they succeeded. Some products fall here. They're simple and sleek and beautiful, but they can't do much. Tools like After Effects and Blender are incredibly powerful, but good luck learning how to use them. And reason number 3 that makes you obsessed with Claude Code, it's also what made it go from here to here. And now that the source code leaked, I can just show you. But before we get to that, if you use Claude Code, you're likely a builder. Maybe you're a founder, CTO, designer, or engineer. And after all this building, if you do everything right, your products start getting traction and big customers come through the door. They ask you about your security. Are you SOC 2 compliant or ISO 27001 compliant? This is where the friends of the channel Advanta come in. As a founder or builder, you should focus on what you do best. Just building the best product you can. Let Vanta automate your security processes and maintaining compliance. It helps you achieve and maintain compliance with over 35 security and privacy frameworks, including SOC 2, ISO 27001, and HIPAA. And this does the best thing for you, which is freeing up your time and energy for the things that actually matter in the product. To all the fellow founders and builders that follow my channel, Vanta is offering $1,000 off at Vanta. Just go to vanta.com/Enrico, that's vanta.com/Enrico for $1,000 off. Oh, and feel free to share the link in the description to your founder friends as well. But now back to the video, because one weird thing about Claude Code is that most of its users are actually not developers. They are curious people, they follow tech, but these people are using it to book airline tickets, file taxes, monitor tomato plants, come from museum archives. They're choosing to use a coding tool rather than the nice and purpose-built apps that we made over the years. And there's a reason why. See, the reason this coding tool became so powerful is because when you really look deep, it's code. Moving a folder, it's just a terminal command. Manually renaming 500 photos and organizing folders, it's a script that Claude can write. Analyzing a spreadsheet, Claude doesn't need the Excel UI that you use. It just reads the data directly and whip up some Python code, and you never have to read yourself to do what you need. Most tasks you do every single day are really some form of code. just with an interface around it that makes it usable for humans. If you go on Skyscanner and you start to search for flights, you cannot ask, hey, find me flights with a 1-day layover in Singapore, but then that connect to Taiwan because I might want to go to the USA as well to find me that. The UI is fixed. But Claude Code can just figure out that it needs to call all the APIs and get all the travel data and present the solution for you. All done through code. So it's not teaching people how to code, it just removed the barrier that was hiding the code that was already there. And how? Well, this is where the source code leak gets interesting. See, whenever you ask it to do something, first it looks at your project, reads your file, figures out what's going on, then it picks a plan and starts doing things. Not just one thing, but it has over 30 different actions and it picks the right one on its own. It can read files, write code, run commands, and search the web. And if something breaks, and it will, it reads the error, figures out what's wrong, and tries a different approach. An infinite loop that keeps going until the job is done. Now, this is both extremely complex. There's like 5 different strategies to compact the conversation and retain context, fake tools added so competitors have a hard time distilling how it works. But on the other hand, it's also quite dumb. Now we can see that they're just literally begging the model to please adhere to the instructions, or they are logging when you curse at it because you're frustrated and using that as a benchmark for how well it's working. But now this addictive loop and the fact that it got so popular and worked so well, it's also a big problem. The highest tier is $200 a month. That's what I'm paying. And if you told me a few years ago that I would pay $200 a month for a piece of software, I would tell you you're insane. But I routinely have 3 or 4 instances running in parallel all the time. One user spent $27,000 worth of compute on a single $200 a month subscription. So they are losing tons of money every single day. They managed to build a product that worked so well that it worked too well. But there's something else that's going on in the tech we use every day. Have you ever wondered why we have super smart AI chats that start to replace entire jobs? We're spending billions developing useless products that no one will use, but still, AirDrop doesn't work. Printers are horrible to work with. It's almost that our tech is running at 2 different speeds. Well, this is not by chance. It's because of one of the weirdest laws that decides how your tech actually gets built. And you can learn all about it in this video right here. I'm Enrico, and I'll see you in the next one.